Hey everyone, we are back for another season of exciting rehearsals, and this week our guest clinician is one of the amazing people that helps bring the Macy's Great American Marching Band to the streets. It is Ron Simmons. Our hosts are ready to get you through this week and beyond, so plop down on the bleachers because we will also find out what made Cyndi say.
I wondered if you had to see marching technique or not, if you just thought, well, we'll just teach them how to do that.
And why Trish said,
kudos to those teachers and directors for putting that, turning a negative into a positive for those kids. That's cool.
All this and more. So get out on the field and we will see you back on the sidelines for this week's episode of On a Water Break.
8 off the mat and go. Welcome to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk everything marching arts.
Everyone, bring it in.
It's time for a water break. Welcome to another episode of Season 2 of On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. I'm Jackie Brown. And this definitely has to be one of my favorite episodes. So I am so excited because we get to do a deeper dive into the Macy's parade, which is like one of my favorite things of the whole year. Our guest clinician this week is Ron Simmons. He's the executive director of the Macy's Great American Marching Band, which is the band that I have been volunteering with since 2009. They've been around since 2006 in the Macy's parade. So amazing staple performance of the Macy's parade. And I'm so happy to be a part of that. And I'm just excited. We really excited we got Ron. Like, it's awesome. So let's see who's on the sideline this week. So hi, Cyndi.
Which Cyndi are we talking to?
Oh, well, I'm not talking about my guest Cyndi yet.
Oh, sorry.
And Trish is back.
Here I am. How are you guys?
Doing good.
Good.
Well, we were supposed to. It was going to be amazing. We were supposed to have Chris Rutt today, but he ended up getting called into work. His extended assignment got extended even more. That's what happens when you're on California time, I guess. Well, we also have a guest host, which I'm very excited because we got to meet in person. She is fresh off the streets. She's a member of the amazing 400-person band directors band that participated in the Macy's parade this week. So let's bring her to the sideline. It's Cyndi Mancini.
Hi, everyone. Yay, I'm so happy to be here.
I am so excited to have you. And since this is your first guest appearance, you maybe, if you've listened to the show, you kind of know what comes next. We're going to do your 32 count life story.
I'm ready.
I'm going to give you 8 off the mat and then you just take it away. Tell us everything as if we just ran into you on the street in New York and you're getting ready to go line up for the parade and you just need to tell us everything of your whole life story.
I'm ready. So my name is Cyndi Mancini. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I actually teach band grades 7 through 12 at my alma mater. So it's a unique situation that I teach where I went to school. You can find me on TikTok and on Instagram at Girly Band Director. I try to make content for anyone who's looking for music education, knowledge, or humor. I try to keep it light and fun. I play the trumpet and I try to be as laid back as possible in my teaching while having very high expectations. There you go.
He's kept it right under time. So I had to make that comment about meeting on the street for all of our listeners who don't know, because that's literally how I finally met Cyndi. I seriously looked for you the whole week. If you ask your fellow 75 trumpet section members,
Yes.
every time I saw people wearing the blue jackets that said the band director's marching band, I jumped on them and I was like, does any of you know Cyndi Mancini?
Well, we were walking down the street and I just kept hearing, does anyone know who Cyndi Mancini is? And I was like, oh wait, that's me. So that was exciting.
That was day 4 of looking for you. So it was very exciting for me too. So what was like your favorite thing about this? How did you get involved? What did you enjoy? Just tell us some about your experience.
So I got involved when they did the Rose Bowl parade in 2022. A coworker of mine who's not a music teacher sent me the application that she had found online. And so I applied and I did the Rose Bowl parade, and it was an incredible experience. 5.5 miles is no joke.
No, gosh.
Yeah, it's brutal. But then we got the email that they had been accepted to do the Macy's parade. And it's a parade that I watch every year, as I'm sure many people do. And you see it on TV and think, man, I would love to do that. And so for me, it was a bucket list item that I wanted to perform in the Macy's parade. So I applied again. I got accepted. My favorite part of the experience, though, is meeting other people from all over the United States that have such unique teaching experiences. Like the woman who I stood next to was from the westernmost inhabited island of Hawaii.
Wow.
Her teaching experiences are very different than my teaching experiences in Pittsburgh, where it is cold. So it was just, when else am I ever going to have the opportunity to share ideas with someone from Hawaii about our experiences and how they're similar and how they're very different? But it reminds you that you're not alone. Like, I'm the only high school band director in my school district. And sometimes you feel on an island. But it's very nice to know that there are other people out there that do the same things you do, and they are a support system for you on the days where you struggle or you want to celebrate. It's a great, great group of people, 400 instant friends.
That, like 400. Oh my gosh. You guys were a force to be reckoned with coming down that street.
Yeah, I forget how loud I play until the people in front of me reminded me.
Cyndi and Trish, did you guys get to see it on TV?
I did. I'm one of those people, like Cyndi mentioned, watches the Macy's parade every year so I can see the bands and the guards and, of course, Santa. But I tell my kids, I tell my guard kids to watch it because there's so many amazing bands and color guards and stuff like that. I actually, at my high school where I coach, my band director and my assistant band director, Amy Wilcox and Teddy Soteropoulos, were both participated in the band director's band. So we've been hearing about this for a while now. Once they got accepted, with the buzz has been kind of going about that. Come on, let's go. Let's get the guard directors out there. Come on, let's go. I'm ready.
Yes.
So do you have to audition? Like, is it like DCI? I mean, how do you
thankfully it was not like DCI. No, well, we had to apply. Basically, the application asks you about your playing experience. Do you even still play your instrument?
Right.
Yes, I do, thankfully.
That's important.
Yes. They also take into account, they want to make sure that every state is accounted for. And has representation. So I was very fortunate. I had an amazing time. You're standing in that green square and Savannah Guthrie's 10 feet away from you.
What an experience.
Oh yeah, what a moment.
It is. It was great.
So going from the Rose Bowl performance to the Macy's performance, like, did you have to reapply? How did that situation work? Because I will say, I had a friend of mine who works with the Macy's band with me, and he said that he actually went to go apply to be in it for this year, and the application closed in like 2 days.
Yeah, it was. We had 900 applications apparently for the band. I know that people who did the Rose Bowl parade, I believe, got preferential acceptance because you had already done it once. I will say, thankfully, I did that one, and it's done and over with. And as I get older, I won't be able to do that again. Yeah. But there was some people that returned, some people who were brand new to the organization, and it was bigger than it was in the Rose Bowl parade. So, like I said, just meeting all the people was the best part. And it's emotional too. You get connected to these people in such a short time. We had the opportunity to play at the 9/11 memorial, and
that's amazing.
Life-changing for all of us, because for most of us, we remember 9/11, and having the opportunity to play there and share that connection and share that moment was wonderful.
Well, it is time for our Gush and Goes. So we have a new sound, and word is on the new Gush and Go sound, Chris Rutt has a starring role.
Great job, everyone. Set your equipment down. Gush and Go.
So hopefully he will get to listen to that later and hear himself. Cyndi Berry, do you want to go ahead and start us off with your Gush and Go for this week?
Well, of course, Instagram is where you can find me at Leander Mama, and things are heating up there as we're getting ready for WGI season. And the kids, of course, they're in the middle of concert season right now. They're doing their holiday concerts, and those are always so stinking cute. I mean, they always do something at those to make them special. But I know there's region going on. So many of them are doing area, but WGI is what we're super excited about. I try to maintain my composure until January, and I'm trying to do the days of Bandmas right now. I've got 25 days of Bandmas going on my Instagram account, featuring different bands every day, and the kids eat that up. And of course, I love doing it. But so I have to pace myself. Like I said, right now we're doing Bandmas, but I'm gearing up for Winter Guard, and can't wait to see what the 2024 season is going to bring.
You have created quite a culture over there on your social media pages too. I have to say, like, there's just a tone that is not matched on a lot of other band social media pages. So,
and I don't even know how it happened. It just evolved, and the cool thing is, everywhere I go, I get to meet kids who know who I am, and they recognize me, and they love the same thing about the page that other people love. I mean, it's such a special audience, and it's a true band nerd audience from a parent perspective, but it's also just that love of marching band. So it's like the combination of both. I don't know how it, like I said, it just evolved, and here we are.
Well, Trish, what would you like to gush about this week?
Well, my gushing goes also about Winter Guard, and I'm super excited because after, weeks of doing training and writing choreo and stuff like that, we at Northern Valley are going to start staging our show this week. Actually, both of my teams, my Northern Valley High School team and my independent NV Winter Guard team, my best friend's coming in for the weekend, Billy Parrott, who also, some people who are listening may remember, he did North Syracuse Central when they won WGI in Scholastic A in 2009, that legendary Y show with the big question mark that people still talk about. So that's my best friend. That show, we could talk about this another day, but that show was actually dedicated to me. But we can talk about that another day. It was, yeah. Yeah,
put a pin in that for like an entire show feature.
For sure.
We have to discuss that.
But I'm super excited. We're going to get both shows on the road this weekend, get them up and running. So, and plus the BFF time is also quality time too. So it's all good things over here.
Well, Cyndi Mancini, what would you like to gush about to our listeners this week?
As everyone, I'm sure, is in the same boat, we are in concert season here at my school. I have my middle school concert, my high school concert next week. But after that, I am so excited that I finally get to take my students to Disney World this year. It's a Disney trip. So I'm looking forward to making some TikToks about the trials and tribulations of traveling with 70 teenagers.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's awesome.
Disney World.
That's going viral.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Some of the students have never been. I'm a Disney adult, freely admit that. So I'm excited to share my love of Disney with all of my students headed into spring semester, and then get geared up for spring concerts and musical and all of that good stuff that comes in spring. Musical season's my favorite.
I love musicals.
It's my favorite thing.
Well, I was in orchestra. It's just, that's my best memories other than Color Guard, was being in the orchestra for musicals. It's truly special. It really is.
And I love that my students get to see me play and do what I love to do. So I don't conduct the pit. I just play, and it's great because they get to see me do what I do.
Do your thing. That's awesome.
That's amazing. I think Disney adults are just the dreamers of our generation.
Absolutely.
And like, people can say what they want about it. That's fine. We're going to enjoy our lives.
From Disney World. I'm not going to
no judgment.
Apologize for it.
We're going to have to.
For those who don't know, I'm actually a kindergarten teacher, and we had parent-teacher conferences last night, which is why I wasn't going to be available for this. So I'm grateful that we changed the time. And I sat down. This one mom and dad came in, and I said to them, whatever you spent on that Disney vacation, you got every penny's worth, because it's all she talks about. And they were they were like, oh, They were so happy. I said, she talks about Disney. Well, I went to Disney, and I went to Disney, and they were so happy. I made their night.
I love that.
That's awesome. Well, Cyndi, we're going to have to coordinate because my band is going to Disney this spring.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So we'll have to text about some of those dates and what you guys are up to. Maybe we could spend 4 days of me looking for you again.
I love it. I won't be wearing a blue coat though. So
I think we should podcast from Disney. I think we should all go.
We should. Okay, on a water break live from Disney. I love it.
Happening.
Well, my gush for this week is definitely simple. It is because it's almost the end of the semester, and I know you guys are like as a high school teacher, that's always was one thing, like getting excited about going into like Christmas break and stuff. But as teaching college, it's a whole different situation. Like finals week is next week, and I think the students might be more prepared than I am for finals week to happen. And I'm teaching a new class next semester. So I'm just I'm ready for a break. And then I'm going to rest and rejuvenate and then build this new class. So that's my gosh.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's nothing to do with band, but that's where my brain is at today.
That's your life.
Yes.
Hey, it's called Gush and Go, not Gush and Stay. Let's go.
Well, before we get to our interview with Ron, I want to share a little interview with you guys. I got to sit down with Caitlin, who is a woodwind performer who participated in the Macy's band this year. And I got to do a little one-on-one interview with her. We kind of spent most of the week together. So here's what she had to say about her experience. I'm sitting here with Caitlin Cardis at the Macy's Great American Marching Band. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi.
So, tell me something. First of all, what do you play?
I play piccolo and flute.
Piccolo and flute. Where are you from?
I'm from upstate New York.
Upstate New York. Where do you go to school? Is it like a public school, private school?
It's a public school. It's Kingston High School.
Are you in your marching band at your school?
Yes, I am. I'm one of the 4 flute section leaders.
Nice. So what made you decide to play flute? Let's go way back.
It was actually my second choice. My first choice was a string instrument. And I'm really glad I didn't do that because I love band. But my teacher said, I think you should try this. And she took me to the hall and she had me just try and make a sound. And I worked, and it was one of the few people that worked. So she had me go after it.
Nice. Okay. And so, and how many years have you been playing flute?
8 or 9, probably.
Okay. And then this is your second year in Macy's band, right? Is that correct? Okay. And what made you, how did you hear about Macy's? Let's start there.
I was in jazz band, and my band director told me, I have something to show you. And he took me and showed me his computer screen and just had the Macy's website pulled up. And I was a little confused. I was like, I'm aware of Macy's. And then he explained what the band was and that he wanted to see what would happen. So I auditioned, and he was super encouraging about it. So I went in and submitted my video, and I wasn't really expecting to get in. And then I got the email, and I ran back, and the whole band was so excited to have somebody going.
That's awesome. So you're basically here representing your whole band, your whole state. Is there anybody else from your band here?
No.
Excellent. And what about last year? Same situation?
Yep.
That's so cool. It's so cool. And is this your last year, or are you going to come back and do alumni band when they do that?
I would absolutely love to. Yeah.
Yeah. They do that every 5 years. So you are in luck. It's coming up in 2 years, maybe?
No, maybe 3. I don't know.
Should be 2025.
Okay.
I know the last one was off because of COVID, but that's kind of.
We don't talk about that.
It's fine. So what's one of the things that you're most looking forward to this week spending with the band?
I love walking down the street and it's so surreal seeing nothing else on a New York City street. Because it's there's really 2 times a year where that happens, and it's the 2 parades. It's so weird being the dead center of the street, and there's just nothing except people and people and people. Also, 3 million people doesn't it sounds like a lot, but it looks like even more when you're actually there looking around and taking it in.
Yes, for sure. Oh, it's so cool to see everybody. So what is something that you are most looking forward to about just this week? Like aside the parade aside, what's one of the things like if someone was thinking about coming to the band and they're like, well, I don't know, I kind of like parades, but like what's something else that could attract them to come be a part of the band that you like?
You make so many friends from everywhere. Like I have friends from last year and this year, I think in every state, and they're like genuine friends. Like they are people that I talk to every day. Like I would not have met them without the band. And it's really interesting because some of them came back. I'm rooming with one of them, and I don't see her outside of this band because she's in Florida and I'm in New York. And it's like really, really cool to meet all these people and have that conversation of like, oh, where are you from? What do you play? And then you find out, well, we live across the nation, but we play the same instrument and we played the same solo this year. And it's like there's just always someone there to talk to. Like,
and it's awesome with like texting and stuff now. You can just like text each other and Snapchat and be Facebook friends and whatever.
So convenient.
It's so cool. That blows my mind. I mean, granted, I'm old, but
we have a group chat on Snapchat right now. I think there's probably 180 of us in it.
Oh my gosh.
And the goal is to get the whole band in it. And we still have one from last year that gets used daily.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
It's really cool.
I want to say that one of my favorite things so far this week in particular is that you showed me how to go to the stage door of a Broadway show. Okay, so just for our listeners who don't know this, I've been coming to the Macy's Parade for 13 years, and we always go to a Broadway show. So if you like Broadway, that's just another incentive to come be part of the Macy's band. But we always go to a Broadway show, and Katie here told me how to go to the stage door after the show and get autographs from the actors. So that was really cool. So thanks.
Welcome.
I feel very much more informed now.
I'm a huge theater person. I collect all of that. Every show I see, I try and stage door to get signed something to put next to the other stuff I've got.
So you have a pretty big collection then?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I will say the show we saw this year was one of the best shows I've seen.
Honestly, I agree. We went and saw MJ the Musical. That was so good.
Yeah, they're very on top of picking out good shows for us.
Okay, well, we're going to go on our way. You guys have some rehearsals to get to, and then I will catch up with you later in the week. Parade's over.
Yeah.
How are you feeling right now?
Tired.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Do you want to walk us through like the parade day? What have we been through today?
Yeah, so it started at midnight after a whole 3 hours of sleep. I was rooming with a color guard girl, and I decided to get up with her so we could get our pictures done. And we got up at 12. I was uniformed by 1 a.m. We kind of just hung out in the room, had a Taylor Swift dance party from 1 to 2.
Swifties!
We got to keep that energy up. And then at 2, we all met in the lobby, fully uniformed, hats, makeup, hair done, instruments out. And then we loaded up the buses and headed out to Herald Square, where we froze our butts off for a little bit, walk into the route. We did, I think, 3 run-throughs at Herald Square, singing and playing, just to see where the blocking was, let the cameras figure out where we are. It was really cool seeing the cameras. I think some were different from last year, so I don't remember the one on the track.
There were some really good angles of you guys just watching the final performance production. There was a lot of angles that I haven't seen in the show before, so I think there was some new cameras.
I liked seeing the stuff that I haven't seen because I'm on the field. Like, I really enjoyed watching it back.
Yeah.
We meant to watch the rerun, but as soon as we sat down, we both fell asleep. And then after the rehearsals, we headed over to Hard Rock for about an hour. Most of the band slept there, too.
I actually, I have to say, I totally failed at vlogging Hard Rock this year because I ended up falling asleep, too, which I don't normally.
Well, I was like, I'm not going to sleep. And then I was waking up really confused. We had like a buffet-style breakfast, though. It was pretty good. And then from Hard Rock, we headed out to the parade route. We hung out along Central Park on the sidewalk for a bit, took individual and group photos with our sections and our friends. We got to meet a lot of people on the parade route. We saw Jimmy Fallon go past on his little go-kart, golf cart deal there. And we saw Jax, and Hypen was right in front of us for a bit, which was neat. They waved to us and were cheering us on. And
Chicago, they played for you guys. That was amazing.
That was really cool. And then I don't know if you heard, the band actually echoed it back.
Yes.
And then I don't know who was in front of us. but he was yelling a lot to the band, and they were getting really excited. Somebody yelled something that made him laugh so hard he doubled over the railing. We had a really good time. Everybody got really excited there. High fives were a big deal. We would stick our hands out over the guardrails, and everyone walking past got a high five from about 200 band kids. We got a lot of comments that the band was keeping up the energy along the parade route. Then we kind of just formed into the parade once our spot came up, which was pretty cool. We got to be behind the Bluey and the Baby Shark balloons, which the band really enjoyed. Going along the route, it felt shorter this year. I don't know if that's because we were further up in the parade. We were later in the show last year.
We definitely booked it this year. I felt like we were running at times.
Not gonna lie, I've never had my legs hurt that bad marching before. It was 100% worth it. The crowd was really, really into it this year. Like,
very much.
They were singing along with us even when we weren't singing, which was really cool. They were cheering us on. I loved all the little kids were yelling Happy Thanksgiving and like, you're doing great. It was really cute. So we marched the parade. We got to Herald Square, and it was a lot louder than I remembered it being, which was impressive because I remembered it being so loud I couldn't think. But somehow it was louder. I wasn't quite ready for that one, but it was like, I don't really remember the Herald Square performance because I went so fast and I was so focused on just doing it that I wasn't like in the moment.
Yeah.
But I did it, so it's okay. We kind of got off Herald Square, got our little yay band talk from the directors, and then loaded back up onto the buses, headed back to the hotel for some free time and a lunch. So once we got off the buses, I returned my uniform, went and ate lunch, and then slept for 5 hours. And then I woke up and came to our dinner dance.
Nice. Those are very detailed accounts. I love it. I am glad you remember that because I took a nap at some point in there and I don't remember half of the day, honestly.
It's interesting because I actually told my roommate, I'm not that tired. I don't think I'm going to sleep. So I DoorDashed Starbucks and then sat on my bed to drink it. And I woke up and she had set an alarm for me.
That's nice of her. That's nice of her. Are you planning on coming back next year?
I can't. I'm graduating.
You're a senior this year. So are you planning on coming back for the alumni band in 2026?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very excited about it. And a lot of my friends are planning on coming back, so I'm excited to see them again.
Hopefully it's going to be a huge band. That should be a lot of fun.
I hope so. That would be really cool.
So what would you say to anybody who is thinking about trying out for the Macy's band in the next few years?
Just do it, because it never hurts to try. Like, you can do it, and even if you don't get in, you can still be like, hey, I auditioned for the Macy's Great American Marching Band. And then if you get in, you can be like, yeah, I marched the Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yeah.
And then once you're in for life. So if you get in your sophomore year, you can march sophomore, junior, and senior year without re-auditioning. You're guaranteed your spot. That's what I did. I auditioned last year, and then they said, do you want to come back? And I said, I can't believe you're even asking me that.
Yep. Once you're in for life, you can come do alumni band, and yeah.
And I actually think this helped a lot with my performance anxiety, too, because I used to not be able to play in front of people. Like last year, this would have sent me into a full panic attack. And then I kind of just got on the route, and I was like, oh, hey, this is pretty neat. And then after that, I was completely fine, which is really interesting to me. I think it was just like being in front of that many people. I was like, oh, well, if I did it in front of 4 million people watching me, why can't I do it in front of 60 band parents?
It's true. It's true. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad it helped you with that. And thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad we got to meet and hang out this week.
Me too. I had so much fun.
All right. And thanks for coming on the pod, too.
Of course.
So I met Caitlin whenever we were, basically when we had to do room checks that first night because she was in my chaperone group. And I just remember her being like really excited to be there and, you know, being excited to be a returner. And she was somebody who, like, I had seen her the previous year, but because she's not in the Guard and then also like she wasn't in my chaperone group, I didn't really get to know her. But anyway, we got to know each other this week, and it was just really fun to kind of get to go around the city with somebody who had a little bit of experience being there. And, you know, she was on her second trip, usually a lot of the kids I hang out with are there in their first year when they come. Because a lot of times the second years, they like to go off in their own little groups and do the things, without necessarily having an adult there. But yeah, we hung out, and it was cool because she had like these things that she wanted to do that were, not necessarily just like, oh, I'll go wherever you want to go or whatever you want to show me. So that was really, really fun to get to hang out with her and a couple other kids that, had been there before and some other girls that she was friends with and, just whoever kind of tagged along with our group. And that's one of the cool things about the Macy's band is that like the kids don't know each other going into it unless they had been in the Macy's band the previous year together. So they don't, so they kind of make these new friendships and then like the groups change throughout the week as they all meet each other and make new friends. So it was just, I don't know. It's a really unique experience.
I have a question. If more than one kid, like I know there were several Bentonville kids that were in that band, did they room together? Do they try and put those kids together?
It depends. So like they can request who they want their roommates to be. And so if they all request each other, then yeah, they'll get put into the same room. But they try to put people kind of near their sections if they're not like in the same room with their section maybe, or if they're they might be at least on the same bus with their section. It just makes like getting to rehearsal and stuff like that easier because sometimes they'll be like, oh, the guard needs to go needs to stay at the hotel and rehearse while the winds go to the armory. And like there's all these crazy things. So it's easy to just be like, okay, bus 1 and 2, you're going to this place, and bus 4 and 5, you're going to this place or whatever. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's honestly, Stephanie is one of the ladies. Stephanie and Megan are two of the ladies who like put everything together ahead of time. And Stephanie, I tell you what, she organizes the rooms and the buses and all that sort of stuff. And she just does a fantastic job. Huge job. And she like creates a schedule for the week. And it's so much. And she's made a lot of small incremental changes each year, makes things just so much easier from one year to the next and so much better. So that's another thing is when the kids come back year to year, it's a different experience because maybe one year we're going to go see Michael Jackson. Like we went and saw the Michael Jackson musical this year.
I saw that. Yeah.
We went to Aladdin last year. We've seen Wicked. We went on a lunch cruise this year, which was, Ron and I talk about that in the, in the interview, but yeah, anyway, it's so much fun and it's a little bit different. So
that's cool. I can see why you do that every year.
I love it so much. it's seriously like the highlight of my year. You just got to have students come and then you can apply to be a chaperone if you have students that are coming because they use professional chaperones. Cool. It's so good. It's so good. Okay, everybody, we're going to help the tubas get the lights strung around their instruments for the holiday parade this week. And after the interview with Ron Simmons, we'll be back with some of our favorite moments from the Macy's parade, along with the news and more.
Hey, this is Christine Ream
and Chris Green.
Guard Closet was founded as a consignment business in 2000. Since then, it has grown to include winter guard, band, percussion, and other genres.
We can help you with custom flag and costuming designs.
Our consignment inventory has plenty of great looks for your color guard, drumline, and marching band.
Pay it forward. When you purchase consignment, you help other programs. Last year, we sold over 400 sets of consignments and returned over $125,000 in payments to our consigners for their sales.
Additionally, Guard Closet offers custom and pre-designed costumes, flags, floors, and formal wear, full or partial show writing, educational programming, and other services.
Max out your rehearsal time and set up a microsite for easy student ordering for shoes, gloves, and other equipment.
The Guard Closet team is here to help you get everything you want and need for your season. Check us out at guardcloset.com and follow us on social media.
All right, guys, go put your stuff down and let's take a little break. I have got Cyndi on the sideline here with me, and we are interviewing our guest clinician for today, Ron Simmons. Hi, Ron.
Well, hi, guys. How are y'all?
We're good.
Good. So Ron is a very old friend of mine now. We've been friends for a very long time, but also the executive director of the Macy's Great American Marching Band, which like one of my favorite things.
The best.
Which I must shamelessly plug. Thank you for all your help over the years with this.
Oh, absolutely. I love social media and I love the Macy's band. And yeah, I will just plaster it everywhere. I have no shame. So do you want to like start kind of with the beginning? Like, how did your position sort of happen? How did the Macy's band come together? You know, you were there from the inception of everything, right?
Correct. Yeah. Well, back in, I don't know if your listeners will remember the old McDonald's All-American Band that was used to be in the Macy's parade. Macy's kind of ended that relationship. I mean, after years and years and years. And I mean, to the point that I was even nominated for that band when I was a senior in high school because I was a first chair all-state player in Virginia.
Okay, I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah. Well, that's how long the Macy's or the McDonald's band had been in existence. And I don't have the exact history, but it was a long time. So it kind of ran its course, I guess. And so a couple years after that, we had a little in with Macy's, the producers that produced the parade and especially the band program. And so Dennis Rhodes, who's the president of Music Festivals and Tours, we're the company that produces, rehearses, takes care of everything that's Macy's Great American Marching Band. So we actually got an appointment with Macy's and we did our pitch. But here was the difference. The McDonald's band was all about McDonald's. It was, the students that were accepted they wore their own uniform. They wore a McDonald's overlay, a McDonald's Shaco and plume and, that type of thing. So it was all about McDonald's. So we knew that would not be, an approach that they would want to do again, since that had been for years and years and years in the making. So we approached Macy's with, hey, we would like to do an all-star band, but totally different. Now, the McDonald's band had 2 kids from each state, and it was only made up of 100 students. And Jackie, to your dismay, it did not have color guard.
Oh, right. Oh, my heart.
Yep, it was just winds and percussion. So, but there was only 100 students that got an actual chance to be nominated and audition for the band. So we approached Macy's with, hey, we would like to do an all-star band to represent all 50 states, but not limit the numbers. I mean, we wanted to have a large band. Then we wanted to approach it that we would make it a Macy's type thing in partnership with Macy's. And so then we thought a name, and we came up with the Great American Marching Band, considering it was going to be all made up of all 50 states. And so that's how this all came about. So Macy's in 2006, we launched the first band and advertised the crazy, anywhere we could advertise. We sent emails out. We sent postcards.
You emailed me. I was too old, but I got the email.
And we sent, emails to directors that had traveled with us in the past on performance tours or done a festival with us. I mean, you name it, we hit it hard. And so anyway, so the stipulation was in 2006. Well, let's see how it goes. This was from Macy's. Let's see how it goes, and we'll go from there. Well, of course, the rest is history. We just finished the 17th year, which we are very grateful of. It would have been 18, but we had the COVID year that we lost. But that's how that all approached. We approached Macy's, and I think they loved the concept, the fact that we were going to make it a Macy's band. something that had Macy's. So the uniform design came in, the flag design, everything, has the Macy stars, the red and white colors. So, the sousaphone covers that we use, that's the big red Macy star, all of that.
Absolutely iconic.
Yeah. So all of that came in about, and Macy's just loves this band. I mean, they've used it for different things. Not necessarily the high school kids, but they've used the uniforms in different things. We actually, some of y'all might remember the old movie that came out with Ben Stiller, Tower Heist. And there's a scene in there that has the Macy's uniform. Of course, they're all stunt people, but then they're trying
that camera shot of the actual band too.
Yeah, they got a camera shot, and they're trying to escape. Of course, they're going through the Macy's parade, and then there's the Macy's kids, quote unquote, flying out of the way. But the cool thing about that was, and it was a neat experience for the kids, we actually recorded some of the soundtrack with the actual Macy's band that year. And we were out at our rehearsal facility, and they bought the boom mics, had the headphones with the director, all the things, and we actually recorded the march that was played on that soundtrack in that movie. So that is actually the Macy's band you hear playing in that movie. So there's been, we've done the Today Show. We've opened the stock market.
Wow.
I mean, it's really been a really cool thing. And then here's one of the unique things, because the parade is 97. We just finished the 97th one. Never in the history of the parade has a marching band ever opened the entire broadcast until the Macy's band did it.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
That was before COVID, and we opened the entire broadcast. And then, if some of y'all remember that parade that's listening, then we came through and we brought in Santa. So we opened the entire broadcast. We did the Herald Square routine that we do, and then we got immediately on the buses, got escorted back up to the start of the parade, and then we brought in Santa. So that was kind of a fun year. So this has really been an exciting and fun time for all the students. And of course, we have thousands of alumni now.
Thousands,
yeah. And then we've had 3 alumni bands with this, and then the 20th anniversary is coming up in 2026. Which will be the 100th anniversary of the Macy's parade. So we're planning on doing
perfect timing.
Yeah.
Have you changed the uniforms at all in all these years?
No.
Okay.
No. The uniforms are kind of iconic now. So whenever we do have to get new uniforms, we'll probably have to keep it similar in style. But hopefully, it's going to be a while. I mean, they're used once a year,
True.
And we store.
They've held up really well.
Clean them and store them. And now we have changed the guard uniform. Jackie will remember that. The guard uniforms don't hold up quite as well. So those were changed out. But the actual, musician, the winds and percussion uniform, they're still the original ones from 06. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned the guard. When did you guys add the guard and the dancers to the parade?
From the very beginning.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't have a guard.
Band, yeah,
that was the
okay. Sorry, I misunderstood.
And didn't have it. So there again, another different approach to Macy. Yeah, no, we've always had the guard and the dancers right from the get-go. Yep. And the guard line is just and the dance line, they just get better and better every year. So
this year was fantastic. Oh my gosh, they were so good.
They were really good. And the one cool thing about it is we're getting and bless the parents' hearts and whoever the supporters are to help get them to New York each year. But we're getting more and more of the, very rarely are there freshmen that make the band. It's more sophomores, juniors, and seniors, but mainly juniors and seniors. And but those kids are starting to come back each year. So like this year's guard, Jackie, since you mentioned that, I mean, there was several kids that were in the guard last year that came back. Yeah. so we get that little continuity, which helps. And so I had a lot of kids we have a final dance and dinner on Thursday night for Thanksgiving. And
fun.
a lot of students will come up and, I'm coming back next year, Mr. Simmons, I'm coming back next year. And we're excited for that, because that's the only way we have, any continuity being an all-star band.
Do they re-audition?
They audition. Yep.
Again,
audition.
the second time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the second time, no, if you're, except, well, we do ask video, but that's just to make sure they, but if they come back, they're automatically accepted. So,
okay. That's great.
Our percussion specialist, he does require a different video in case he needs to reshuffle some of the instrumentation, but the guard dancers and winds are all automatically accepted. Now, the winds can submit an audition, like if they were assigned second or third part and they want to try to improve on that, then they can send another audition on that. But, it's not required. Yep.
Like the old days when we used to have to fight for first chair.
That's right. But yeah, there's 32 on the guard, and those girls and guys were fabulous.
That was probably one of the biggest ones we've had.
Yeah, and we have 8 dancers, and they, I think 4 out of the 8 were returnees. So the dance line came together real quick, and Kayleen does a nice job, and Bart Woodley does our guard. He's with WGI, and Kayleen Laga is our dance instructor. So, and she does a great job as well. She's been with us now for 4 or 5 years, I think. And Bart's been with us for 10, maybe, Jackie?
Well, he's been there as long as I've been there. He wasn't the head of the guard before. He was just helping, but he's been there at least since 2009. Yeah,
since 2009. He's been there a while, because we had a gentleman that was the first initial year was a gentleman that was working with the cadets.
Greg. And Greg Legola.
Yeah, Greg. And then when Greg and them came, then we found Bart. So Bart came and helped that one year, and then he we looked at him and said, "You can take it over." He does a fabulous job every year. So yeah.
Well, when the kiddos are auditioning, do they have like a routine that is given to them that they have to repeat, or are they pretty much coming up with their own?
They can come up with their own, but there's elements that we require them to do.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
And the dancers the same way. They can come up with their own routine, but there's styles they have to show. And there's specifications. And then percussion has to show, rudiments that Doug Rosner, our percussion instructor, he's got requirements that he wants to see. And then they need to play something, a solo or something that will show that, and then do the rudiments by themselves. And then with the winds, they have to play a solo or an etude, and then they have to do a marching portion to show us that they can.
I wondered if you had to see marching technique or not, if you just thought, well, we'll just teach them how to do that.
No.
Parade is different than field marching. Right.
And they don't have to do quite as much, since we can only do so much movement in Herald Square. So there's certain things we do ask them to do, but yeah, no, there is a marching component there. Mm-hmm.
And you said that students can start auditioning pretty soon. I mean, looking at like when this podcast is going to be coming out, in about a month, it looks like.
Okay. Yep. We open auditions for 24's band on January 15th. So if anybody's out there that's listening to this podcast and they're a returner, they have to get their application in by the 15th, so we know who's returning. And then the first deadline, auditions will open January the 15th, and the first deadline's March 30th. And then we have a monthly deadline up through September. But we hope to have the band filled before, And sometimes we have to go to September.
You're like accepting people through September.
Yeah.
You're accepting people through September. It just seems like that's really close to time.
It is. And the reason is because of, we have certain goals with the instrumentation that we have. And of course, like I've already said, 32 dancers, and that'd be a lot. 32,
That would be a lot.
32 guard members and 8 dancers. And then percussion, we have 7 snares, 5 basses, 4 quints, and then 7 to 8 cymbal players. And then with the winds, we have certain numbers we like to have in the, for example, 35 trumpets, that type of thing. So, but since, not every student is accepted because their audition is not the standard that we need it to be, it takes several months before the band is full. But but once sections are colored, like the guard, for example, the color guard closed at the end of the March auditions. I mean, it was done. I mean, those students were accepted.
I believe it.
Yeah, we had several alternates that were already accepted because we have the returners, so that's why we asked the returners to get their applications in again early. And I have on the website, there's a link that for the returners, and then there's a link for the new applicants. And so that gives us an idea. So, like, for example, I think I already had 8 flutes and piccolos that returned from last year. So we ended up, we look for 21 to 25. So that tells me how many spots I have open to fill with the graduating seniors, So, yeah. So, Jackie, to answer that question, it does sometimes take us up to September to get the band full. But there again, it's because we have a certain quality. We have to have a certain level of musicianship and spinning technique and dancing technique in order to put this together. And where other bands that are there have worked months on their routine, we literally have hours. I mean, literally just hours. So it's really an all-star, best of the best type of situation, because we have to have students that can work fast, comprehend fast, and be
learn
able
fast.
to learn fast. Yeah. Keyword.
Do you find it difficult? Find it difficult to get students from all 50 states? Is that ever a challenge? I'm thinking like Hawaii and Alaska. Is it ever a challenge to fully cover the United States and make sure you have students? It is.
It is. Now, we had a student from Hawaii this year. She was like one of the first ones she was in the flute section, and actually was one of the first ones to audition. Yeah. So we had a Hawaii knocked out pretty good. But yeah, it is.
You're like, whew, knock that off the list.
Where we run into issues is, some of the states that may not have, a lot of marching band programs, and and that's where we get challenged at. But at the same time, there's been several stories from me, that I've had directors that have served, and that's a whole nother story, how we do the chaperones and all that. We use professional staff. But I've had directors who are serving as our chaperones come up, and they may have. I had one gentleman this year, for example, and one of his students made the band, and he took the time. They do a pep band. They have a marching band. They do literally march from the band room to the stadium, but they don't do field show. They do stand band. But he taught his student, the marching techniques and the things. And of course, his student was an awesome player. So the kid was accepted and got the opportunity to march in a marching band setting where they may not have the opportunity to do that with their home band. And we've had several people like that over the years. And from an educator standpoint, myself, that just warms my heart, because I tell the kids, I have a meeting with them on Saturday night when we come in the week before. And I asked them, I said, how many of y'all from small band programs? And probably half of them raised their hand. And their band probably would never be accepted because of not having the numbers that Macy's look for. So the All-American Marching Band gives them a chance to do this.
That's wonderful.
So
And that's hard for like Jackie and I to even imagine a state where, I mean, you don't have that intense marching band. I mean, thinking of Texas, of course, and Arkansas, and just the whole Midwest. And it's just hard to imagine. There's parts of the country where band is not fiercely supported and taught, the marching band, I mean, the way it is in the rest of the country. So that's a wonderful thing to know that they are embracing kiddos that can't be a part of that in the normal world, and they can be a part of that with Macy's. That's phenomenal.
This is a funny story. I had one student that looked at me one year and said, "Man, the trumpet section's bigger than my whole band." and here we have an all-state player in this particular student that would never have an opportunity to do this, but the Macy's band gave her a chance to do that. So there's all kinds of stories like that over the years, and it just really warms your heart. And when you see these students on Thursday night after they have finished and see the pride and the accomplishment and the excitement, I mean, they are just, I mean, they could go out and march again, I think, even after 3 a.m. rehearsal, Wednesday and Thursday just kind of runs into one day. And, but I mean, I think they could go out and just march again on Thursday. They're so excited with the experience. And I always tell them, I said, enjoy it all, and soak it all in, because it really is unique. Not just the Macy's band, but just marching in the parade itself. It's really an experience, and to marching down and in New York and all the buildings and the people. I mean, they're just rows and rows and rows deep. I mean, we're talking 3.5 million people along the parade route, and so some of them have never experienced anything like that.
I can imagine.
And then, of course, it's cool when we're marching down the street, and then you hear parents and friends and family cheering, waving out.
Yeah.
Or whoever, whatever name they're calling. And then so they're like a rock star right there, with their own family. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
If you have anybody who's listening who wants to audition, what's the website and what should they look for when they get to the website to apply to audition?
Okay. It's www. Of course, and it's Muse, M-U-S, not music, M-U-S, festivals, festivals.com. I can spell that. Anyway, musefestivals.com. And then they're going to click on the Macy's Great American Marching Band logo at the top. And then there'll be all the navigation. So to the left will be, the application where they can pick up the registration form, and they can do that all online. There is a registration fee of $30, and that can be paid they have to pay it as they submit their application. They don't have any choice. It's automatic. And then, but there's just all kinds of information. There's a sample itinerary of what they can expect while they're in New York. Because remember, they're not only just prepping for the parade, but they're also being tourists as well. So
right,
yeah, and so Sunday's usually our big touring day, so because that's the most time they have. So this year they got a chance to have a lunch cruise. They saw MJ the musical.
Oh, that lunch cruise was amazing. If I could give my 2 cents about it, loved it.
Yeah. And then of course some free time. And then the other days, there's some times to go into the city and do different things. So anyway, so yeah, it's just a jam-packed, itinerary.
A real experience, not just a parade, but the whole New York experience.
Right. And like I said, on the website, there's a sample itinerary. You can click. Our main staff, Dr. Rick Good, who is the overall head director. We've already mentioned Bart, and Kayleen, and then Doug Rosner, our percussionist specialist. So you can read a little bio about them. And then, of course, the music staff consists of folks from all over the country. So we don't have specific because they change each year. But there's a supporting teaching staff of about 10 people. So there's about 15 music staff people that put this all together, with sectionals and working in the different sections of what we call the block, and then moving the block into Herald Square, that type of thing. So, but anyway, all that can be found on our website. And, and the one thing I want to emphasize, please, so we don't go to September, that would be a nice goal one year, is to register early, to audition early, because there were some students, unfortunately, that auditioned after sections were closed, and they apparently didn't see that on the website, but I put it right there. And so they didn't get a chance to be in the band because those sections were already full. So I encourage them, because usually after the first deadline, the numbers shrink. There's not as many opportunities open. And I don't want to make it sound like we're going right up to September all the time. We usually do. But I'm looking, like this year, for example, I'll just give you this year, I was looking for 3 more trumpet players. I was looking for about 3 or 4 more trombone players, that type of thing. So I wasn't looking for a whole lot. I was just looking to fill out the section. And again, we keep the auditions open until at least September 30th, just so we have the quality of the level that we need for this all-star group.
This sounds like DCI auditions.
No.
It really does. Last minute, we need you. We need trumpets. We need trombones.
Yeah. You always just let me into that. A lot of these kids do march DCI. They leave here they leave here and try out for DCI, and so we have a lot of students that have marched DCI that come from this band, or vice versa. So
yeah, that's fantastic.
She led me right into that. That was.
We always joke about the Macy's Band Week is kind of like if you take the whole summer of DCI and you kind of compressed it into 1 week. It just took out all the sleeping. That's what it's like. You're not sleeping. You're practicing. You're touring the country. You're just touring New York though, instead of the whole country.
That's right.
And then you have a 4 a.m. rehearsal, or this year it was really early. It was 3 a.m. or something, or 3:30.
3:30. Yeah. I always joke that I love that. Only in New York City can marching bands rehearse it from. I mean that session goes.
That's true.
From 2 in the morning to 4:30 in the morning, and we were at 3:30 this year. And but only in New York City can marching bands play that time of the morning, and things will be okay.
Not bother anyone. No noise ordinance.
I'm not too sure too many high schools can go down in their city,
no.
At 3 in the morning and play and be okay.
Definitely not.
But that is a unique experience itself. I mean, it really is, because the lights are bright and it's quiet, before all the hustle and bustle but you're coming into the Herald Square setting, and all the camera lights and the voice of the producer director is like, okay, man, and the big deep voice coming over the, I mean, it's a unique experience too. And then it gives the chance for those kids to actually, we got 3 runs in actually, because you got about 10 minutes to do your thing. And so the first time we went in singing, so make sure we hit center. So you always want to hit center of the star, and folks that are familiar with the Herald Square performance knows what that means. And then the second time we came in all out, and then the third time we came in, and then we did our exit. And so each time it just got a little bit better. But that way, when the kids come back, and we went on the TV at 10:09 this year. We came right out of the commercial break, and that's a unique experience in itself. Because the Macy's Band, we have found that, if we're not leading the parade or bringing in Santa, we're usually either coming into a commercial, coming out of a commercial. They always put us in spaces. So you're sitting there at the red ready line. And again, those of you who are familiar with Herald Square, you'll know what that means. But that's the prep line of where you started. And so you hear 1 minute coming out of commercial, 1 minute, thank you, one. And so, it's a unique experience to see that. And then, so everything is, I keep saying unique experience because it really is,
Yeah.
And the students that get to do it more than once, lucky them. But it's as exciting to them the second time. I mean, we'll have a potential one student that will be in this band all 4 years, and they were lucky
That's incredible.
Yeah, they were lucky enough to make it as a freshman, and that's very rare. And but this person's already told me, next year will be their 4th year, and they said they'll be back.
That's great.
And the excitement when that student talks to me, the excitement is like the first time. I mean, it's never
still the same.
Yes, it's just a different experience every year, and not just because we play different music and do a different drill, but it's the fact that it's a different experience every time. I mean, the one thing that I always tell the kids when I meet with them on Saturday night, that this band will never be together again. It's a one-time thing.
Yeah,
that configuration,
that's true.
Those particular students, that particular music, that particular routine, that particular drill, it's all, sorry about that, if that ding just went through. It's all unique to that 1 year. So it will never be the same. They'll never be together. So yeah. So, and you can see I'm
how long is that? How long is the parade route? I didn't think about that. Some of those kids have never really marched before. How long is it?
Yeah, it's 2.5 miles.
Okay.
And it goes by quick. The biggest thing for those directors out there that are listening and you want to apply for Macy's with your own, it is the best hurry up and wait experience you'll ever have. You will know exactly what I'm talking about. You literally hurry up and then you wait, and because everything's got to be done a certain way to move that many people, So
sure.
Literally, they give you a time that you need to arrive for your, AM rehearsal, and in this case, we were 3:05 was our arrival time. At 3:30, we were. So you have just enough time.
Just don't bother going to bed.
Yeah, just warm up a little bit, and then you're gone because of just moving all that traffic. And then we have a time we have to be uptown at the start of the parade, and they schedule that out because they try to put, all the floats are coming on the main start of the road on and then the balloons are feeding in from the side streets, and then all the bands are on the sidewalk along Central Park. And so they put you in order. So then when you feed into the parade, everybody's in their order. It's really unique. But because of that, you have to arrive, you have to get off the buses, you have to go, it's really, and then you wait, until the parade starts. And so it really
and you move up and you wait, and you move up and you wait, and you move up, and then you finally get in the parade lineup. Yep.
So really it's about 6 miles when you consider all the wait time.
So anyway, but yeah, it's 2.5 miles down the parade route. And then like I say, there's about 3.5 million people. I mean, it is crazy how many people are there. I mean, and then the folks that are fortunate to have apartments and things there,
Yes.
you can look up and just see them. If they have a balcony, they're on the balcony, they got the windows open, listening. I mean, it's really cool. If you take all that in, I mean, it's just blows your brain, And then,
that is definitely on my bucket list. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, Ron, thank you so much for coming in and sharing all this with us. This is seriously like one of my the highlights of my year every year. And I love the Macy's band so very much. So I really appreciate you sharing this with us. And hopefully this will recruit some more people to come and audition too.
I hope so. And again, Jackie, thank you you've been with us many years and helping us with this behind the scenes and she nailed it. I mean, I refer to it like regular high school band parents have about a month to get their uniforms all, fittings, and we have a day, literally.
Wow.
It's everything you have to do for marching band. We have to do it in a day. It's like marching band on steroids. I mean, it really is.
And that's what you do, Jackie? You help get the uniforms ready?
Yeah.
Guard,
wow.
handle all that, and with the guard and dancers and makeup, and I mean, you name it. I mean, there's we could. I know we've been on for about half an hour now, but I mean, we could literally just all the tasks that have to be done. Literally on one day is just, it will blow your mind. But if you can just picture everything you do, the month of band camp, just picture that us
just
doing
shrink
it all.
It down.
Shrink it down into a week. Yep. Just cram it in there.
Goodness.
Cram it all in.
Exciting though.
And then, by the way, after you get all that done, then we go and chaperone the students for the week and do all the touring and rehearsing. But it's a fun experience.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a whole experience. So anyway, thank y'all.
Well, again, thank you for coming on.
Yeah. So we're excited. We're looking forward to next year, and I encourage all the students to audition. We'd love to, not have to go to September. That would be great.
All right. Well, stick around for this last rep, because as soon as we're done with that, we're going to hit the news, and we'll see you guys on the next water break.
Hey everyone, it's Jeremy, one of the producers from On a Water Break, and I'm just here to tell you about some really great bonus content that we have going on the rest of our podcast channel. You should check out On a Water Break in Rhinestones with your host, Lexi Duda. She has stories from twirlers all across the world. Also, speaking of worldviews, we have On a Water Break Lost in Translation with Cynthia Bernard, who explores a word each and every time with a brand new guest from around the world, making sure that no one gets lost in translation. Check out other great bonus content as it comes out all the time here at On a Water Break. Okay, back to the main show.
Okay, Cyndi, what did you think of Ron? Honest opinions.
Oh, Ron, he was awesome. I'm just so envious that he gets to do that every year. And among his regular teaching gig and his running a travel company and helping with that. Wow, that would just be amazing to be able to do that. He was really interesting, and I was just fascinated to hear all the things he gets to do with all that. And I'd kind of like to try something like that someday, just be a fly on the wall. I would love to be a part of the Macy's parade. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to figure it out.
Me too.
You have contacts
We're
now.
doing it.
Yeah, he's such a nice guy. And like, for all of the stuff that he does and has done, he's so down to earth. You might think of somebody like that would be like on a different planet, and he's just not. He's so down to earth and so level-headed, and really just, I don't know, he does a great job for those kids. He works hard for them, and you can tell, I feel like.
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah, you can tell it's really important to him that they have a good experience, and that he gets kids from all over the country, and he really puts effort into it all the way up to the last second, evidently, when he was trying to get those last few spots plugged in September. So I know it's not easy.
Literally. Well, we are planning on having him back in the spring. Yay. So those of you who are listening, definitely tune back in to hear Ron talk in the spring, and see maybe what spots are still open, and see if you can get into the Macy's band and march in the 2024
we'll
parade.
Figure this out. The podcast is going to have our own float. I'm just telling you. How
amazing would that be?
Yes.
So
or we can march behind Cyndi.
Yeah, Cindy's going to be marching with the band director's band, and then we'll just have our float. Ooh, what would our balloon be, though? Like a giant water bottle, maybe?
Oh, that's perfect.
What were you guys' favorite moments from the parade this year?
I had so many. I mean, all of the band directors, obviously. I mean, all of the bands. My hero, though, for the entire parade, besides Santa, my hero for the entire parade is that rifle soloist from Fisher's.
Oh,
that she stood out there and threw that solo rifle toss. I haven't been able to rewind it and see if it was a 5 or a 6. So it was hard to see the rotations because they only kind of showed her body. But she stood there and she nailed that. And I've always often thought about what that would be like when the Super Bowl was at MetLife Stadium and they had all the local marching bands participate in the halftime show. My band went and I was out there and we just basically we basically had choreographed cheering for Bruno Mars. Like it was like, do this and then, but they choose all the high school marching bands because we know how to move around football fields. Anyway, during that, I thought to myself, what if we had to actually spin in this? Like, what if we had to actually spin? Would I be more nervous or less nervous than I would be in a judged performance that counts for a score? Is it more pressure to do that? Or is it more pressure to perform in front of the entire world? And
that's so true.
So that thought crossed my mind, but that thought actually crosses my mind often. But when I saw that girl go out there and she just, with the TV, the whole entire world watching, just cracked that, I was like, bam, that's my favorite moment.
Yes.
I got to go back and watch that again.
She was great.
I like the college bands. I mean, obviously, the high school bands are great, and that's high school band is my life. But I love that college bands go to the Macy's parade, and you can tell that they're still kids at heart too. And I really loved, especially the Southern bands. They're kind of my favorite, and the SEC. I don't know. No,
I didn't get to see a whole lot of the parade until after I got home because. But for me, we were waiting to go, and Alex Newell from the musical Shucked, which was right before the band director's band, came over and was taking selfies with band. And, she was very very kind to everybody in the band and talking to everyone. It was awesome, and they were great. And probably one of my favorite moments was just seeing, all these band directors geek out over the Broadway stars that were right in here. So it was super cool. That musical was also hilarious. I didn't see it, but I got to hear all of the lyrics while we were waiting to go into Herald Square, and I kind of want to go see it now.
It's a musical about corn, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, to each their own.
I've heard it's hilarious, though. I don't know what it's about. I don't really know the premise of it or anything. I just heard that it's about corn and it's funny.
Me neither. The first I heard about it was when they were in front of us in the parade. So,
and it's called Shucked. Is that what you said?
Shucked. Yeah.
Like you shuck corn, like you pull the shuck off of it. You pull the green off of the corn cobs.
Yeah. It sounded hilarious.
Now we're going to see a band show do that next fall. I'm telling you.
Probably.
It's going to happen.
There's going to be 18 winter guards and indoor drum lines doing it this year.
Dressed up as
absolutely.
corn.
Corn themed.
I love that about the parade. Is the staging area, they kind of, depending on where you are in the parade, if you're further back, you actually kind of get to intermingle with people more, but you get to sort of intermingle with different celebrities and performers and different bands and stuff. And so it's really neat that you kind of you come early and you get to line up and just be there for all of this for everything.
I was really looking for Cher, but I couldn't find her.
Yeah.
I was on a mission.
We got to hang out with Chicago for a while. Like they kind of where we were at and where they were at was like it was next to each other, and then like they would go a little bit and then they'd be like way away from us, and then like we would go and we'd catch up to them, and then like we would go again and we'd be like ahead of them, and then they would come and catch up to us. And so we kind of went back and forth with Chicago. And what's really fun is like a lot of the celebrities are musicians at heart, and they did high school music programs themselves. And so the kids were like talking to, I mean, like talking, they're yelling to each other and yelling to Chicago. And the guys in the band were so nice. They were taking pictures and stuff. And there was at one point, they were like playing music back and forth. Like the kids would play like a stand tune from their school. And then like the band Chicago would like play it back to them.
Incredible.
Wow. And then like they would, and then like Chicago would play something. And then there were some kids that kind of organized themselves and like would play it back. It was really cool. Like just those kind of interactions I absolutely love. I seriously have stories like that from every single year I've gone. There's always been something cool, some cool interaction like that. And you know, these kids get so inspired. So that's what I love about the Macy's Parade is like all of these inspirational stories that come out of it. It's just so good. Okay, it is time for the news.
We got so much accomplished today. Great job, everyone. Bring it in for the announcements.
I want to start us off with a news story that starts off as one of my worst nightmares that I've ever had as a teacher who takes their kids on any sort of trips. Bethel High School, but it does have a happy ending, so you know, don't be scared. Bethel High School's band in Washington, I believe is where it is, in Washington State, their bus driver didn't show up to take them to the Christmas parade. The number of times that I have like been terrified that this was going to happen to me when I'm supposed to take my kids on like a long trip or something. Oh my gosh. So their bus driver didn't show up, but what they did was it looks like it was their music booster club that came up with the idea and then posted about it. They decided to have their own Christmas parade, and they just marched through the neighborhoods. And
so they didn't even go.
They didn't go to the parades. No, they were supposed to be in two different parades in two different cities, and didn't get to go.
Sounds like they started a new tradition.
I mean, I think that would be cool. Like, you know, then people don't even have to like go to town. Like if they want to stay in their neighborhood and watch the parade go by, like how cool is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kudos to those teachers and directors for like putting that, you know, saying, you know, turning a negative into a positive for those kids. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure. Because that totally could have gone a different way. And they really made it into something. And it sounds like it was really special for those people who saw it. They were saying like, I've never seen anything like that. And like, I heard loud noises and I just looked out the window and there was a band in uniform marching and playing music down the street. So
best so surprise ever.
Yep. And it sounds like they didn't have a bus driver scheduled for them. It was just like a human error of forgetting to schedule a bus driver. They've got a lot of it sounds like they're really short on bus drivers in general. And then anytime they have absences, it's really, really difficult. So they're trying to hire more bus drivers, basically.
Athletic teams, the coaches would drive the buses.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe we need band directors driving the buses. I can see why the coaches.
You've never seen me drive.
So I have to be careful who I tell this to, but I do have my CDL because I had to get it so I could drive Spentronics to all of our Winter Guard competitions. Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like this is a problem across the country with schools, and then like drum corps are trying to get drivers, and like everybody needs drivers for everything. And It's not an easy job.
I know when some of the kiddos were trying to get to UIL State, I don't think it was this year, I think it was last year, and the charter bus didn't show up. So they had to scramble and just grab the yellow buses and take them. And that was in the Leander district, and that was pretty bad. You can't just
that
not
would be
show
extra
up
tough too if you like were planning on having those buses there for school, and then they had to take those buses on a big trip. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Those charter companies, I would just stick with the yellow buses.
Well,
They have
I'm
more
glad
trouble
at
with
least
the
they were
charters.
able to march through their neighborhoods and have a good time of it anyways, because seriously, like, I love parades so much, and that's just it's just, that's the fun part of it, is getting to see people and make people smile. So I'm so glad they got to do that. Trish, do you want to tell us what you brought today?
Yes. So it's almost college football bowl season, and University of Iowa will be playing the University of Tennessee in the Citrus Bowl, and the bands are heading there. They are ready to go. But the drum major of University of Iowa just posted that they're not going to be able to play at halftime. Actually, neither bands. They're not going to be able to play at halftime, only pregame, because Gavin DeGraw will be performing at halftime. Where's he been all these years? But he will be playing a concert at halftime. So they're just super disappointed. And according to the post from the drum major, he said, if you could please share the Citrus Bowl post and urge our fans to support the band playing at halftime, I would greatly appreciate it. So, I mean, I'm sorry. It says at the game. He means pregame. He says at the game. But so, I mean, there's so many sides to this. I mean, here in New Jersey, and high school marching band, I mean, the school I coach at has a very successful football team, and we've played at state football games and stuff like that. The band kids get just as excited as the football kids, and I'm sure that's what's happening here. Is that now I think they're afraid that nobody's going to see them at pregame now if people come late or whatever. There's not. And I think that's, one of the concerns. That's why he's reaching out to urge people to try and, come see them in pregame, because, it's going to be their only shot. I mean, our kids, they used to, a few years ago, they used to put us both at halftime, but you couldn't do the whole show.
Right.
And we had to cut down the show. Now that's even all gone, and we're just playing in the stands, so the guard kids don't get to perform at all. So they're happy to go and just support the team, but it would be much better. They would like it much more, obviously, if they got to perform. So I'm kind of feeling this kid's pain. Well, I read the story, online earlier, and I was like, wow, I get that. I feel that, for real. So, if you're guys out there, if you're heading to the Citrus Bowl, get there early and support the bands.
Well, it does feel like they're moving away from marching bands and bringing in these entertainers. And, it's not the Super Bowl. We're talking about college football.
Right.
Let these bands play. They're such a huge part of the experience.
Absolutely.
And it's ridiculous, I'm sorry, in my opinion, that they're bringing in paid entertainers.
Nothing against Gavin DeGraw, of course. Gavin DeGraw, if you're listening to this, you're awesome. We just want to see our bands.
Sure he is, but come
bands deserve the experience just as much as everybody else.
Yeah.
They work just as hard. So it's sad that they get replaced.
Well, so there used to be a program called the All-American Halftime Show that performed at halftime of the Citrus Bowl as well. And so they did like this thing where it was like one of the college bands would play part of their halftime show, and then the other college band played part of their halftime show, and then the All-American Halftime Show group. And the All-American Halftime Show group was really neat. It was a combination of cheerleaders, dance team, like pom girls. Well, I don't even know if they had poms. I think they were just dancers, and majorettes and color guard members. And Spintronics had several girls that were in that for a few years in a row. And it was such a cool combination. But then 2020 happened, and it kind of like, like everything else did. And it just never came back from that. And so I'm kind of like, I wonder if it never came back because it didn't want to come back, or if it was because they wanted to move a different direction with the halftime show and get these
might be right.
performers in there now.
This is not a trend for the future, but I do worry that it might be.
Yeah, it cuts back on performance opportunities so much for these kids. Gosh. Well, there's other performance opportunities, like Cyndi, your story.
There is. There's this thing coming up in on New Year's. I think it's called the Rose Parade. I don't know. But yeah. And high school bands, I think I counted 19 bands. Now, they're not all high school bands, but there's a whole lot of them that are going to be performing that day in the Rose Parade. We have some of our BOA bands that are going to be there. William Mason is going to be there. Castle from Indiana is going to be there. Jinx from Jinx, Oklahoma.
Ooh, Jinx.
Is going to be, yes. And Westlake. Got to give a shout out to my Chaparral fans. Westlake from Austin is going to be there. And so there's a nice variety representing all areas. There's a Hawaii band that's going to be there. So it's really cool how they're representing the whole realm of marching band.
Westchester's going to be there.
Ooh, yay.
Ooh.
Nice.
What do we know about Westchester?
I don't know. Nobody we know went there or anything like that. I drove through Westchester on my way up to New York for the Macy's parade this year. I don't know that I was supposed to drive through Westchester. I'm pretty sure it was a wrong turn. But I just remember seeing the sign and being like, oh, hey, that's where that is.
Todd Marcacci and staff are going to put on some spectacular. I'm really excited to see it.
Awesome. Where can people find the list if they want to go look it up?
Sure, the tournamentofroses.com, and it has the entire list of every group that's going to be performing that day. So, and not just the bands, of course, but the whole parade. So look it up, check it out, and be sure you're watching.
And it's not a long parade or anything, right, Cyndi Mancini?
It's the longest parade ever.
So wait, when you were in the Rose Parade, okay, totally changing the subject now, but when you were in the Rose Parade, did you like have a long way to walk from the bus to get to the parade and then back to the bus again too?
Yes. I don't actually know if it was that long, but it felt that long.
Especially going back.
Especially going back. I felt bad for like people carrying heavy objects. I'm a trumpet player. Mine's not heavy, but people playing drums, sousaphone, I felt really bad. It was great though. I'm so excited for all those bands that are going to perform.
Well, do you want to talk about your story today? Yours is a follow-up to an earlier story we had.
Mine's a follow-up to not the funnest story on the face of the planet, but the band director from Minor High School, who in a viral story earlier this fall was tased for his band not stopping playing after police asked him to stop several times, supposedly, or according to the story. The judge has ruled that his case will go to trial after his lawyer has asked for them to dismiss the case. So he will be going to trial. The charges against him are harassment, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, you should always listen to what the police tell you to do if they're telling you to stop.
Right.
But I feel like the tasing was a little excessive.
Well, especially
now
seeing like the videos that circulated. It's like, it seemed odd.
Yeah, was
this
this
very odd? My students wanted to know why I've never gotten tased for them. I said, no. But I mean,
maybe you could raise money and then offer that as the reward. If
we raise $100,000, no, you'd have to raise $1 million for my band to even.
But I mean, I feel for him. You want to advocate for what is right for your students, and he believed that them playing was what was right for them, but also follow the expectations of the police. So I don't know.
There's a balance.
Yeah,
there is a balance, but I don't know. I don't think tasing may have been the right answer to that.
Well, the fact it's going to trial tells you that
they're going to decide what was right when they go to trial here, it sounds like.
I feel bad.
Oh, I do too.
Man. A whole podcast on that.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should cover live from the courtroom or something like that.
We can screen it.
I'm in.
Some commentary.
We can't have recordings in court, so we're gonna have to wait until the court goes on their water break recesses, and then we can get the scoop.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for a great rehearsal this week. Thank you to our hosts, Cyndi and Trish. And Cyndi Mancini, can you tell us one more time where we can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Girly Band Director.
And that's Girly, GIRLY. Okay. And and Ron, thank you so much for coming in and being our main guest this week interview. And thank you again to Caitlin for her interview this week. Make sure you guys go subscribe, write us a review, share this with a friend. Make sure you follow us on social media at On a Water Break. And we'll see you at the next rehearsal on a water break.
Go practice.
The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Ream. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lyda. To learn more, visit lydamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.